We just extended David Luiz's contract for another year at Arsenal. He will be here next season. I don't know what's going on with this club anymore. It's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. But anyway, excuse the noise in the background. I've got my AC on. In England right now, we're in the middle of a heat wave. Oh, it's not nice. So I'm just going to leave it on. Hopefully the mic isn't picking it up too much. I'll put some music on or something just to cover it. But let's talk about Arsenal. I wanted to do a career mode video today. I'm not really in the mood. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I won't make a good video if I'm not enjoying it. I'm feeling it quite difficult to motivate myself to play that damn game at the moment. So that'll be back. Don't worry. Just a couple of days. And today we're going to talk about Arsenal's policy with these players that we're keeping hold of. 4 players we've got to talk about. And also I want to talk about players that maybe we should be looking at signing, because obviously we are now coming into a really important period because we're missing out on European football most likely. We're not getting Champions League. We might not get Europa League. And we're going to lose players. So we need to look at what we can do to try and stem the bleeding, because right now this club is sinking fast. So, as I mentioned, we have offered David Luiz. Yes, that's right, David Luiz, the player that quite literally threw away the match against Man City for us. He came on as a sub and instantly gave away a goal, and then he's given away a penalty and got sent off. Up until that point, when David Luiz was off the pitch, we were doing okay. Now, I'm not saying we would have won the game, but I think we were doing a lot better. He single-handedly destroyed that match, our first match back in months. And yeah, he's getting a contract for that. So congratulations, David Luiz. You get rewarded for terrible performances with monetary gain. He is getting another year at Arsenal. I just cannot fathom it. We now have 8 centre-backs at the club right now, including Mavropanos, who's out on loan. And, you know, Zek Medley, I guess, kind of doesn't count, but does. Is he ever going to make it into the first team? Who knows? But David Luiz is not someone we need at the club right now. Sure, he brings experience. You could argue he's good off the pitch for the players with that experience, and he's a leader, but really on the pitch we can do so much better. In other news, we've also signed permanently Mari and Cedric Soares. Now, they've played 3 games combined, and that is 3 games for Mari, by the way. Cedric has not played a minute for Arsenal. We signed him on loan in January. Apparently Arteta is a big fan, and we've now permanently purchased the player on a 4-year deal. I don't know what's going on there. Clearly in training, he's been doing well, I guess. I'm not really sure what's going on at this club anymore, because how can you not play a single minute and then get rewarded with a 4-year contract? How do you earn a 4-year contract by not even setting foot on the pitch? I think that probably means that maybe Hector Bellerin could be on his way out. I hope not, because he's an Arsenal lad, and although he hasn't been great since the injury and actually the year or 2 before that, he is still an Arsenal lad and he still has many years to improve. He's still young, so who knows what's going on there. But Pablo Mari, I kind of get that a little bit more. The moments that we have seen of him, he looks good, and he would be only our 2nd centre-back that is actually left-footed behind Zek Medley. And obviously Mari is a better defender than Zek Medley. He's older and he's more experienced. Zek Medley is still so young. Seems like a good youth prospect, but who knows where that's going to go. But Pablo Mari, I kind of get it. He's going to be out for a couple of months after the injury he picked up against Man City. Seems to be quite nasty. He won't be back until next season at least. But I can kind of get behind this deal because we need a player like him. However, we're just about to go in the transfer window, and I am just thinking to myself, why not try and bring in a left-footed centre-back that's going to be ready to go, you know, just play games. And then up last, we've got Ceballos, who has extended his loan. That's correct, extended his loan. He hasn't signed permanently until the end of this season. Of course, this season is lasting longer than we all thought because of lockdown. But as soon as this loan spell ends, he's going back to Real Madrid. I don't think he's the answer, put it that way. But when he has played, I thought he's been pretty decent at times, but also at times pretty much hasn't really done anything for us. Very expensive loan deal, of course. I mean, it could have worked really well, but it hasn't. And he will leave at the end of the season. But I'm glad we've extended the loan deal for now. It makes sense. You know, we need players. We are dropping like flies at the moment. And he is a quality player on his day. So that's definitely something I can get behind. but I'm also relieved we're not spending 40 odd million signing him permanently, although that could be a very worthy price in the next few years. He could be worth way more than that if he does continue the trajectory of his career, but it's very likely he won't go back to Real Madrid and play. I have a feeling he will get another loan, or he will move permanently to another Spanish club. So just to round it up, David Luiz, an extra year. Pablo Mari and Cedric Suarez are now signed permanently on 4-year deals. And we've got Ceballos finishing his loan spell. He's going until the end of the season and then will be returning to Real Madrid. Also, another thing worth mentioning, the injury to Leno apparently isn't as bad as we first feared. We thought he would be out for 6 months to a year potentially, but it turns out there is no ligament damage and he's going to be back in training within the next 4 to 6 weeks. So that is fantastic news. He won't play again this season, but for sure he'll be ready for next season. So that is some good news. So let's talk about players that I think maybe we should be looking at in this transfer window. We'll start off with Partey. I've brought up his page here. Tomas Partey, obviously midfielder for Atletico Madrid. He has been linked with Arsenal for quite some time now, at least the last few weeks as well. It's been looking like it gets more and more likely by the day. He wants to join Arsenal, according to his agent. I don't know how I feel about that. Is he okay? Does he need to go and see a doctor? What's going on there? Why would you want to join this club right now? It doesn't quite make sense, does it? You're playing for a team that is more than capable of winning the Champions League, let alone competing in it. Whereas coming to Arsenal, you might not play another European game for a few seasons. However, if we can rebuild, and maybe there is a promise being thrown out there to these players, we will be back. I can just see it now. Arteta saying, you are the solution to our midfield problems. Please join, please join. Maybe we're able to convince someone of his quality to actually join. Right now, he has a market value, apparently of 36 million, according to Transfermarkt, and they're quite reliable. But of course, market value means nothing in today's market. You can sell a player for triple, quadruple that number, and thankfully, that's not going to be the case with Tomas Partey. He has a release clause of between 50 and 55 million. I'm not 100% sure which number it is, but that should be something we can do, right? Well, maybe not, because apparently Arsenal won't have much to spend this summer because of COVID-19, because of the amount of money we've spent on these loan deals, which are now permanent, and money that we're throwing at players like David Luiz. It really is quite frustrating, but I think Tomas Partey could be, honestly, a big part of this puzzle that we need to be putting together over the next few seasons. He will be a superb player. I would absolutely love to see that deal happen. Up next, we have another left-footed centre-back. And I think there's no harm in signing another centre-back. Yes, we've got a lot at the club now, but half of them are just simply not good enough. More than half of them are not good enough. I would be expecting to see Socrates, possibly Holding. I think they should probably both be sold. I don't think Holding is quite good enough. I don't think he ever will be. Chambers is also in that category for me. I'm not so sure he's ever going to quite make it, but when we have seen him play, he's been pretty good at centre-back, so maybe worth a chance. I think he's probably better than Holding, in my opinion, but I think Socrates should be gone. David Luiz shouldn't have been signed. I would have said he should be gone, but he is staying now, so maybe we sell someone else, maybe Mustafi. Either way, we need to get this player in. Gabriel Magalhães, the Brazilian player that plays for Lille. We've done some business with Lille not so long ago, of course, with Pepe. So I don't know if we can do something there again. We've got some friends over there at Lille. We got a little bit... I think we paid a little bit much for Pepe at this point. We'll see in the future if that comes good. I think it probably will. But Gabriel, left-footed centre-back, I really, really do rate this guy. I think he could be a very good player next to Saliba, who, of course, is coming in for the next season. And apparently, we might be able to use Saliba earlier. He could feature this season. There are reports that there is a way we could potentially get this done because of exceptional circumstances with injuries. But Gabriel and Saliba, I think they offer a great partnership for the future. It wouldn't work straight away. I don't think Saliba is the answer right away. He's a future player. He's going to be already very good, don't get me wrong. He probably is automatically our best centre-back, but he's not going to change the team on his own. If we could bring in Gabriel next to him, there are reports of Upamecano being thrown around, but that's just not going to happen. We have to move on from Upamecano. It ain't going to work. I would love to see Gabriel come in, not injury prone, which is incredible. And actually, I want to talk about Mari in a second. There's a crazy stat. He's very, very good on the ball. He doesn't lunge in and make too many stupid tackles. He doesn't get too many yellow cards. He played 24 times. He's only got 3 yellow cards. I really think we need a very well-tempered centre-back to go along with Saliba. Just someone that we can rely on to not slide in and take players out. David Luiz, Mustafi loves to go to ground, doesn't he? But let me talk about Mari really quick, because I believe there was a stat being thrown around. He's only been injured once in his entire career, and he was out for a couple of days or a couple of games or something. And now, as soon as he joins Arsenal, he's out for months. We are quite literally a curse to players. We are injury FC, and it is really grinding my gears for the last few years. Under Wenger, it was exactly the same, and it makes me wonder, what are we doing in training to these players? You know, what's going on? We've just heard that Martinelli is also out for a few months now after taking a knock from our own squad. He took a knock from one of our own players, making a bad challenge on him in training, and now he's out for months. Gabriel Martinelli, you know, that young player that could literally be the answer to our prayers for the future, yeah? Gone for the next few months just because of a reckless challenge in training. Yeah. Only Arsenal would put ourselves through this. So look, I've just thrown 2 players out there that wouldn't break the bank completely. I reckon we could get these deals done, and it would seriously improve our squad. Of course, we would have to raise money by selling players, but we've got players to do that. Socrates can go. You know, Holding can go. Mustafi could potentially go as well, even though he's been somewhat okay over the last 6 to 8 months. But yeah, I feel like this is probably the biggest window in a long time for us, because we're at a point now where if we get any worse than we are now, we are genuinely going to be fighting in the relegation battle next season. We just cannot afford to not invest in this squad. And we have to exchange players. We have to get rid of the players that are costing us money on the wage and bring in players that don't cost so much on the wage. Young players that want to play for the badge, man. That's what I want to see. And of course, this isn't career mode. I'm a career mode guy. I could go on to career mode and make any signings I want, right? But in real life, we have to hope that the people behind it, okay, the board at Arsenal need to back the manager. We need to get the players in that suit our needs. And I'm really hoping that we can do something, because I am seriously concerned. Within 5 years, we could genuinely be a proper mid-table club. Right now, we're a mid-table club that should be in the top 4. Soon, we'll be a mid-table club that should be a mid-table club, which is not Arsenal. And I cannot fathom that. It cannot happen, and it will not happen. So we need to make some changes. We need to keep Aubameyang. We need to sign Saka on a permanent deal. He's only got a year left. And we need to bring in a couple of players and sell a couple of players. But there's my thoughts on the current situation. I will be streaming a watch-along for the game tomorrow at 5:30-ish. I'll be going live on my Twitch, so make sure you check it out. And then, of course, Operation Arsenal will be out after that. And then I guess Career Mode will be back on Friday. Because right now, I'm not playing that game. I need to take a break mentally, okay? But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the Operation Arsenal when we lose to Southampton.